What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the HIVEOS Miner channel. Well, in today's video, we are going to build this 6 GPU 6600 mining rig on an Asrock H510 Riserless motherboard. All right, guys, before we go ahead and jump into our build, we have a care package that came in from the team over at Crypty.co. They have been outfitting us over the last few months with some amazing cryptocurrency gear. I wear it every day. I love it. You know, I love rocking the crypto mining and cryptocurrency stuff. So huge shout outs to them, Crypty.co. Let's go ahead and see what they sent us here. Oh, this is a little tough to get open here. Let's see. Oh, it's a coffee mug. You can always tell by this packaging. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous to open. Which one's it gonna be? I think the last one we got was Dogecoin. Let's see what this one is. Woo, look at that. Oh, Shiba Inu, that one's awesome. I like how big the logo is on that. Very cool, and I really like the big cups like this versus like the really small ones. These are always so nice. The other ones just go down. The little cups just, whoop, they're gone so quick. All right, so let's see what this other one is real quick, and then we'll dive into our build here. This is a shirt, I think. Ooh, check this out. Oh, this is a HODL shirt. Look at that. This one is HODL for, that's the Ergo. That's a cool logo. I like that design versus some of the previous Ergo ones I've seen. Check this one out, guys. That's cool. I like the black, and I like how they added that in right there with the logo. That's a really cool idea. Put that over here. Bam. All right, what's this one? They got Bitcoin one? Heck yeah. Dude, I'm excited. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. More like the retro style look to it. That looks really, really cool. With the big Bitcoin logo right in the middle and this like fancy text down here. Very nice. I like it. If you guys do want to get yourselves some gear over at Crypty.co, I have a huge % discount code for you guys. I'll put a link down below to it, Crypty.co. Use the discount code TheHobbyistMiner and check out how much discount you get. All right, so let me go ahead and get this cleaned up and we'll go ahead and jump into our build. Okay, today is finally the day. I have had this Asrock H110 Pro board for like months and a bunch of the supporting hardware for months, just waiting to get everything together, to get the frame built and to get the rest of the parts in. The GPUs in stock, we got them in the other week with our purchase from Red Fox. So let's talk about it. So in our previous video, we built out this frame. If you guys are completely clueless, I'll put a link in the upper right-hand corner and down below. We custom built this frame. I did a step-by-step guide on it. Please go over and check it out. I think you guys will really enjoy it. So let's talk about our parts list for today. So we have the Asrock H510 Pro BTC motherboard. This is a 6-slot GPU motherboard, which is completely riserless. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I haven't built one of these before. Be a lot less cables, so I can't wait. So talking about some of our supporting hardware, we have the Intel Celeron here, G5905. This is a little different. It's an LGA 1200 socket, so not your traditional setup there. We have a cheap thermal take. It's about a $15 heatsink. It'll do the trick, nothing much to it, but it does the job, which is what we need. We have a Lexar NS100 that was sent over to us from AAA Wave. Thank you very much for supplying that. In addition, we are rocking some DDR4 3200, and this is 8 gigs. 8 gigs is absolutely not required. You can get away with 4 gigs, no problem, for your HIVEOS builds. But in this situation here, we are looking at this one because of the fact that we bought these on sale and got a 2-for-1 type of special with these. So that's why we went with this with that memory there. And look, here comes our dog. What are you doing? Hi. All right, so that is our supporting hardware. In addition to that, we bought 2 of these power supplies. Now, I wouldn't traditionally recommend bronze power supplies at all, except Altered Component actually recommended these. They went on sale, and I went ahead and nabbed up the 650 watts and it worked great. I have it in another build. It's working really, really well. That's in my Wolverine build right now that has a variety of different 3000 series cards. And when I saw these, I was like, dang, let's go ahead and nab them. So they're only 550 watts. And you might be like, well, what are you doing? Well, I bought 2 of these, and I actually was waiting to do this build because of these. We're gonna put 1 on each side. And the reason I went with these is because I need Molex, actually. So in the previous video, when we talked about the Asrock motherboard, we did a full review of the Asrock motherboard, and we talked about the fact that it has 1, 2, 3, 4 Molex ports that will help to power the Riserless motherboard setup. So I didn't want to run, most of the power supplies I had, even my 1000 watt EVGA, had 1 strand with 4 Molex ports on it. And I didn't want to run everything off of 1 strand just to be safe. So for the cost of these, they were $40 each US. I was like, okay, we'll do 2 of these, 1 on each side. They each have Molex to it. They'll do, well, 1 strand will power 2 and the other strand will power 2. And the nice thing is about the Asrock H510 is they have ports for the secondary power supply. So my 1 power supply that's over this side is just going to plug in here, and my other one's going to plug in over here. And the nice thing is that the board manages all the power up and everything like that, which you don't need any adapters or anything like that. So that'll be pretty cool. So on top of that, the last thing is our GPUs. So we do have the Sapphire Pulse AMD Radeon RX1660. Wow, really? 6600. We also have the Hellhound AMD Radeon RX6600, and those are the ones that have the blue fans, the LED blue fans. We have 2 of the XFX Swft 210s. I've never actually used these cards before, so I'm excited to use those. And then in the back here, we have a Gigabyte AMD Radeon RX6600. So each of these should give us around 28 to 29 mega hash, which should be awesome. And then of course our watts are going to vary between 40 to 60 watts each, depending on the memory and the manufacturer build and everything like that. So let me go ahead and get set up. It's going to be a lot faster of a build. We're going to start out installing our components on our supporting components on the left-hand side over here. We're going to get HIVEOS set up as well. So maybe we'll do that next. So let me go ahead and get set up with the laptop and the adapter, and we'll go ahead and set up HIVEOS. Alrighty guys, so we have Baleena Etcher up, and we are going ahead and let's flash our SSD drive. It's going to tell us that it's erasing everything. Sure, why not? So okay, we're flashing our SSD drive right now. This is the Lexar NS100, and then we're going to go ahead and load up our config file. If you guys are curious on the entire process of just exactly how that goes and how exactly to burn HIVEOS onto a solid state drive, I'll put a link down below, as well as in the upper right hand corner, to a full guide that'll make things much easier and takes things down to a step-by-step tutorial level if you guys are interested. So I thought let's go ahead and take a look at our GPUs. We've gone ahead and unboxed them here that you guys can see in front of us. So starting out in the front, we do have our Gigabyte here, and this is the Gigabyte Eagle. We got this one in more recently. This is a 3-fan edition, so it does use a little bit more watts than some of the other ones do, but we are able to get right around 28 to 29 mega hash on Ethereum with this model. In addition, the one that I actually like the most so far is our Sapphire Pulse. This is the Radeon Sapphire Pulse RX6600, small little, 2 little fans there, and this thing does amazing when it comes down to mining Ethereum. And of course, I love the fact that all these cards are simple little 8 pins, which is really, really nice. Now, we have new cards to me. I haven't actually dealt with these cards yet, and I'm actually really excited because I have a number of the XFX series when it comes down to the RX580s. So now we actually have the Radeon RX6600. We have 2 of these, which are the Swft 210 editions, and these look super, super similar to the RX580s. The shroud is a little bit more plastic feeling, a little more lightweight in that regard, but the build is super similar. It has the heat pipes on the side as well, which is almost identical to the 580s. So that's this guy, and then finally at the top here, these are the Powercolors. The Powercolor is one of the first few ones that I got. I love these cards. They're very heavy duty. You can tell they have a lot more weight to them. The shroud is a thicker, stronger material to them, and of course they're awesome because they light up with that really cool blue LED look that goes very well with the Powercolor Hellhound edition. I'd love to at some point get myself 6 of these in a rig. I think would look really, really cool. So we've gone over our GPUs, and now let's go ahead and take a look over here at HIVEOS right now. It looks like it's just about to wrap up. So I thought we might as well start to look at building out our frame with the rest of our components here. Alrighty, let's finally get into our build here. Our solid state drive is loaded with HIVEOS. We are calling this build Surge, based off of the low electric usage and wattage that this build will use. Thought the name was pretty ironic there. So we are using the GoPro today, as well as an overhead camera to help us out with giving you guys a better view. So let's dive into it. So we're first going to go ahead and remove the CPU cover plate. That's going to go ahead and allow us to install our LG 1200, which is the Intel Celeron G5905, which is what we're getting into today. So we do need our knife to get into this guy here. We'll get this installed. We have some thermal paste sitting by, some Arctic silver, which is ready to go. This huge giant box. Okay, and you want to know what? Look at that. It comes with it comes with a heatsink. What do you think? Do we go with the Intel one? Or I think we'll go with the Thermaltake one. I don't know. Thermaltake one, you know what? I'll leave the Thermaltake one. We'll save this for another build. Mistakes were made, right? Okay. I was just commenting on the fact of like, look how big this box is that they give us. And lo and behold, well, they give us a bigger box because we have a heatsink in there. That's okay. You know what? Oversight's heaven. We're not perfect. Okay, so we have our heatsink here, looking all fancy, 3.5 gigahertz. And we're going to go ahead and get this installed. So let's get this in here. Nice and easy. Just tap it in. Okay, we're in there, nice and secure, can't move it at all. We're going to go ahead and pull this down, and that should lock it right into place, which is perfect. I like it. Now, let's go ahead and take a look. My guess is this actually has some thermal paste on it already, so we might just leave that on there. We'll see. I know the traditional thermal paste on heat sinks is nothing special, nothing to write home about, but we aren't really doing, we're not doing any CPU mining or anything like that, so I'm not too concerned about it. So we're going to leave it on for now. We got our set of our thermal paste here for our GPUs and also for our CPUs, but we aren't going to need it right now. So here's where we're going to go ahead and put it, and we're going to connect it right. There's a chassis fan right here, and the CPU fan is up top. So we're going to go ahead and connect it right up top here. I'm actually going to install the memory, I think, just because it's right here. Make sure that we route everything around it correctly. And let's go ahead and put this in. And I'll have links, guys, to everything down below. If you guys are really interested in building this exact build or getting your hands on any of these parts, it'll at least be easily accessible to you guys. So just kind of figuring out the avenue we want to go to get this installed. We're going to lay it out, I think, just like this. Yep, because then we can reach the CPU fan spot. If we did it like that, it would not reach. So there's just things to look at. By the way, paint all over my hands. We were painting the access panels in the mining room today. They're steel access panels, so we did end up having to do some coats of primer first before we went ahead and applied the paint. Okay, so that lines up there. And now we're going to go ahead and get this installed. Get on there. Perfect. Now, I do need to grab a flathead screwdriver, so give me 1 second. Okay, flathead screwdriver is acquired. So you can see here there's actually an arrow that shows you which way to turn these. So you can just take the flathead screwdriver, lay it in there, put my hand in the center. You hear it click, which is great, and then we're just going to turn it. And there it is, and we'll turn it. There we go. And finally our last one here. There we go. And check that out, good to go. Just make sure that we're not going anywhere. Make sure our heatsink is set. Now we do have a little extra cabling here, so I might have to get like a zip tie or something like that to get that out of the way, just so it's not kind of sitting by. But for right now, it should be good. I think you can usually see, that's nice here that they go into the fan so nicely, but I don't think this is going to stretch the way I'm seeing it right now. Yeah, it's not going to stretch. Maybe I can just tuck it in here. Let's see if I can tuck it in. Maybe not. I'm trying to put it in between the pin here just to get it out of the way. There we go, perfect. Okay, great, now it's out of the way. We're spinning freely and all good to go. So, fans installed, heatsinks installed, CPUs installed, memory is installed. This is very simple and easy. We built this bracket here at the very bottom in order to fit everything, and so this will make it easy for us to go ahead. We can do it this way or this way. We'll just kind of see what happens with our power supplies that we do go from there. So, man, it's so much easier doing Riserless here. So let me get a few things cleaned up, and then we'll get our cards installed. Alrighty, we're ready to go. Man, this build is so simple without like risers and everything like that, which is pretty crazy. So we're just going to install these from biggest to smallest is the way that I thought about doing it. So we're going to start out with our Gigabyte Eagle, to our XFX cards, to our Hellhound Powercolors, and then finally to our Sapphire Pulse. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, well there we have it. I actually started out with my Gigabyte on the far left hand side and ran into an issue with it bumping into my solid state. So I was like, let's go ahead and swap those around. Let's not make this overly complicated. So the larger Gigabyte Eagle, the 3-fan one on the far right hand side, and our smallest one on the left hand side, which works out nicely because we'll have a bunch of cables and stuff over there as well, which is nice. So we now have to get our power supplies together. We have 2 power supplies, one on each side, as well as we're going to need to make sure that we power our Molex motherboard slots. We have the 8-pin on the motherboard. We have each of the 24 pins for each of the power supplies, and then we have splitters, which actually, thinking about it now, I don't even need splitters. Wow, this is crazy. Like, it's such a weird mindset to be building a Riserless motherboard. It's like I instantly go to splitters to power the riser and to power the card, but we don't have that right now, which this is really nice. So let me get all of that together, clean up some of my mess here, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little lost here. So like, I'm going through the steps in my head, you know, when I usually do a normal build, and I'm like, okay, I just thought to myself, okay, I need to hook up the USB cables. You know, like when you usually go from your riser and stuff like that. I'm like, oh wait, I don't need to do that. Like it's a Riserless motherboard. It is crazy how many things like you take out from a normal GPU mining rig when you use a Riserless board. It actually is encouraging me to do more of these in the future. So let's talk about our power supplies now. So we have 2 of these. These are the Superflower 550 watt. Now these are bronze, and the reason I'm going this route is I want to go ahead and test these out at bronze right now, and it's only 550 watts. You're like, oh my gosh, well keep in mind, they're 6600s, so they use between 40 to 60 watts each. One of these would be fine, but as we get into plugging in the Molex, you will see that I don't want to go with 1 strand. I want to go 2 strands for Molex, so I need 2 power supplies. So I thought, might as well do it, plus the board supports it very well. So let's go ahead and get this opened up here. We're gonna lay these out the way that we see fit best. So we got all of our cords. We have our power cable. We'll use that for our testing. We got some screws here. And we got our power supply. And let's put that over here out of the way. So These are kind of nice. They use this like universal mindset to the back of them. So take a look at this. It's upside down. So you see how like you have motherboard, it's got its own like little universal plug. And then look, universal, universal. There's no like CPU, you know, or VGA or SATA. It's all usable there, which is really nice. So something fun to check out, which should do really, really well. So if we're gonna go ahead and lay this out here, we're just gonna go ahead, and all intents and purposes, we're gonna put one right here on the end, and let's make sure our economy mode is off. We don't wanna deal with that. Coming down here to our other one, let's get this unboxed really quick. We got more cables. We got our power supply. We got our screws. Okay. Oh God, that was loud. Throw that in our trash pile. All right. So we got our second one here. Now this one is gonna be a little different. So if I put it this way, the downside is that it's going to blow towards my card. So I could put it this way, but I just have to make sure, and it looks like we have enough clearance. This is the ideal way to put it, because then it's going to bring in my air and then it's going to blow it out this way. And then same thing on this side, brings in the air and blows it out this way away from the GPUs. Granted, it's a power supply, especially ATX is not putting out that much power, or that much heat, but in this situation, we'll go ahead and lay it out. So that comes out pretty good. Really happy with that. So now what I need to do is, something that bothers me, it's just me maybe, I hate the fact that like I can see the label up top here. Great, I like that, it's fine. But then over here, I can't see that. And I guess I could flip it. No, I can't flip it, because if I flip it, now I'm blowing the air towards the card. So I do need to keep these, man, that's like my OCD right there. It's like, ugh, don't like it, they're not matching. But anyways, our next steps here. Let me go ahead, I'm gonna turn around the entire rig so I can access everything, change some camera angles, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, miners, so we ran into a bunch of snags, but here we are. It's 12:30 in the morning and we're still working at it. So we got all of our cards wired up and good to go, and then we had to pull them out because when we powered up our rig, it was doing 5 beeps. And based off of what I was reading online, a bunch of people had recommended like updating the BIOS and removing the BIOS CMOS battery. So I decided to hook up our little mini screen. These are amazing. I love these things. They're just powered via USB and HDMI. We have it wired into our first card in the PCI slot here, our Sapphire Pulse. And we went and looked at the BIOS. The BIOS on this originally on the Asrock was version 1.10, the original BIOS. There's already been 4 releases out, so we went ahead and put the new BIOS, we downloaded it off their website, and we went ahead and just updated the BIOS. Now, it boots into HIVEOS and we can see 2 GPUs. That's great. That's progress as to where we were. My next steps is I'm gonna add 1 GPU at a time and just go down the list until I run into an issue. So let me go ahead and power this down, and our next GPU will be our second Hellhound. Okay, card number 3 is in. Let's turn on our power here. Economy mode is off. Economy mode is off. Let's turn on our power here. And there's a power button. Oh, looks like it came on its own. Let's check our screen. Trying to get away from the reflection there so you guys can actually see it. And what do we have? Anything? There we go. 1, 2, 3, all green. Awesome. Wow, quite the glare, geez. So that is good. We see all the cards are lit, which is great. We're booting into HIVEOS, which is awesome. So now we have 3 more spots available, and the Molex, this is where I think the challenge is. When I first booted this up, this slot right here was actually lit up red. So I'm gonna, like there's the indicator on the card. So I'm a little concerned there as to how we make out, but let's go ahead and we'll try GPU number 4. Okay, GPU number 4. Power on. Power on. All right, there it is. We got fans. Okay, show me the money. There we go, 4 GPUs. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're gonna let this guy now boot into HIVEOS, make sure that HIVEOS shows all 4 cards, and let's move on to GPU number 5. Okay, moment of truth. GPU number 5. This is one that gave us an issue originally. Turn on. No beeps, no beeps. We got fans, no beeps. Come on. All right, all right, all right, all right. We got 5, awesome. I like it, I like it. Let's keep it going. We have one more, and then we're golden. The worst thing is when you boot up a new rig and it beeps. Oh my gosh, it's just like, come on. So, okay, so now we're moving on to GPU number 6. All right, GPU number 6 is in. Come on. Give it to me, give it to me. We got fans, we got fans. Show me 6, show me 6. Yes, we got 6 and we have no beeps. And all it was a BIOS update. Oh my gosh. It's now almost 1 a.m. guys. This is ridiculous. But we're gonna keep going. Hell yeah. Come on, HIVEOS. Do it. Do it. You know you want to. Is it crazy that I'm this excited at this hour for a screen to pop up on a 7-inch little tiny monitor? There she is. All right. Show me 6 cards. We're gonna wait for it. A start job is running for Hive. Okay. All right. All right. You do you. Some of you guys have already closed the video. There it is. 6. Heck yeah. All right. Let's get this thing overclocked, guys, and let's see what we can do for hash rate and watts. Okay. We are up and mining, and let's go ahead and take a look at everything. So we are up and hashing. We are using GMiner. Based off my latest research, GMiner is the best miner to be using for the 6600s. All 6 of our cards are up and mining, which is awesome. Before we go ahead and take a look at our overclock settings, let's look at our watts at the wall for the entire rig. 445, there we go, 449, 446. So we're gonna base everything off of 445 right now for our calculations. So it is not the best time to be an Ethereum miner right now. Profitability is terrible, but let's talk about this rig. So today, January 21st at 12:46 a.m., our hash rate on this rig, let's refresh one more time. Each of our cards is at 29.2-ish. We're running all 6600s with Hynix memory, which is nice, all in one rig, which is great. Here is our overclock settings that we're running for the entire rig. So 900 for core clock, 620 for core voltage, 630 for memory controller voltage, 950 for memory clock, and 1100 for memory voltage. 100% fan. Our SOC frequency is 740 and our SOC VDD max is 800. So we're taking a look, we're at 175.4. So 175.4. And our power is set to 445, and our electrical cost is 0.058. Let's go ahead and do calculate here, and we are making a whopping $6.81. Oh my gosh, this should be so much more if it wasn't for this and this, but that's okay. So here we are, guys. I mean, our rig is done on the probably worst day in the last 12 months, but our 6600 rig is finished on our Riserless motherboard here. Super excited to finally have this built and ready to go. My butt is going to bed, but in the morning I will go ahead and get this all wired and cleaned up, and the thumbnail will look nice because all the wiring will look good. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me today for another one of our builds. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Take care, guys.